So I just finished the Traitors US season 4 episode 10 and a lot happened in this penultimate episode. So my murder prediction was slightly off. Kristen was my second pick, but her elimination makes total sense if it wasn't Natalie who was murdered. And because this gives Rob like the option to put Eric under the bus to get banished or oh yeah to get banished later by bringing up that the fact that Kristen said to him and Mark that to look at Eric if she gets murdered. But I was right about Rob. Like I said that it really looked like Rob wants to play with Eric till the end, and you can see it this episode. Like he actually tried to shift the heat away from Eric when Mark was kind of suspicious, and and yeah, and I found it was very refreshing to see, especially after all the traitor wars that Rob was having with the housewives. So Tara sidebars Natalie about Rob, and then I love that people are starting to bring up the whole Candice voting for Rob situation again, but it's very strange to me that Mora is finally like turned a whole 180 on it because like in a previous episode, Mora brought up like I feel like I could just like Mora brought up to Rob like during a breakfast that I feel like I might suspect you because I feel like Candice voting for you might be traitor on traitor, and then all of a sudden this episode she completely trusts him, and when Tara and Natalie brings that up about Rob and the traitor on traitor situation, she completely disagrees and said that and feels that Candace was just like throwing away a vote. So it's I'm so confused what Mora is up to. Like I don't know why the sudden random trust on Rob, especially when like in a previous episode she brought it up, so that was really weird to me. So there was a funny like Amazon product placement that happened. It's so random, but I found it so funny to see it because I'm not sure whether there were a lot of Amazon product placements before, but this one was like very noticeable. And then during the challenge, yeah, Rob was also very unusually dramatic about the shield, and it was so weird, very out of character for her to the point that Natalie clocked on it right away, and Mark also kind of wondered about it too, like dude, that's just like like because Rob kept like grilling or like kind of attacking Mark about like why take a small amount of money and then go to safety, and Mark was like, how would I know it's like 750? Like his goal was just to get seated. So back at the mansion, the dynamics was pretty much like a Rob versus Natalie kind of situation at that point, and Rob kind of I don't know whether like it became very suspicious to Mora, but I mean maybe it didn't because of the round table after, but like Rob started kind of like dictating Mora on what to do. Basically like, hey, we vote Natalie and then afterwards we vote off Johnny and Tara. That's the game plan. And at some point, I don't know if it's just the edit, like they kind of showed Mora being like have a light bulb moment or like kind of questioning like what just happened, like because Rob was never pushy like that, like Rob never really dictated his own agenda, like especially like to basically dictate like what each round is gonna happen, and normally Rob saved that energy at the round table to so that everyone can hear about it and like can hear his train of thought. So so it kind of felt like Mora was kind of getting suspicious. Um, so we'll see if that ends up being Rob's downfall. But we also don't know if Mora gets murdered in the end. So we'll have to see about that. At the round table, it was so intense. Natalie was so right in on calling out Tara for what she did. Tara brought up the entire Rob situation to Natalie in the first place and then left Natalie out to dry when Natalie was trying to take charge of bring up the Rob situation at the round table and then mentioned Tara to get her on board and then Tara backtracked and then voted against Natalie in the end. That was such a crazy move. But honestly, like kudos to Natalie for keeping her composure. I was honestly pissed off for her for what Tara did to her. Like I was so baffled by what happened there. So we ended with a cliffhanger for the public murder, and my prediction is that Mora is the one murdered. Because Rob kind of hinted that murdering Mora the would be the great traitor move for him because it would make him look safe. Um, and then he kind of later doubled down again, saying that their murder choice was the best strategic move for him. So I feel like that kind of implied that it would be Mora. Let me know your thoughts on that. Um, and in that line of thinking, Mark could be another option, but I predict Mora because looking ahead, I feel like Rob kind of have Mark wrapped in his finger in terms of being able to persuade him to vote on who he wants compared to Mora. And so I feel like in the final episode, basically Mora is murdered, and then Rob, Mark, and Eric would be breaking up the ice skating duo of Johnny and Tara, and then basically once they break that off by banishing one of them, I feel like that already kind of seals the deal for a traitor victory because at that point there's only four people left, and and at that point, I think the traitors pretty much win if it's like 2-2, unless uh, unless they're really still unsure of unless they still feel there's a traitor, and so I feel like what Rob will do in that situation is that he would throw Eric under the bus, saying that using Mark again, and that's why okay, so that's why he's gonna save Mark and push Mora because Mark was there in the instance where Kristen said that if I murder, look at Eric. So in the situation where there's only four left and it doesn't look like they're gonna throw all green and one needs to be voted off and Mark and Johnny doesn't look like they're gonna vote each other, that gives Rob the opportunity to use Eric and throw him under the bus and bring up the issue of Kristen so that Mark and Rob will be voting Eric and then Johnny, they can probably persuade Johnny as well into voting Eric because Johnny also suspects Eric, so that pretty much seals Rob as the winner eventually, which still makes it into a traitor winner, which is my prediction. So I'm excited to see if my guess is how it is this will play out. Let me know your thoughts if this is what you're thinking as well. And I'm very excited, and I'll see you on the next episode.